Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for season 10 of Cone. My name is ILT Indigo, or as most of you know me, Jamie Morris, and tonight I am joined with my other ILT driver, ILT Bompia. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for introducing me. And as you said, indeed, the landmark race for Count Season 10, the first race of it in Tier 3, so it's definitely going to be a cracker.
Oh, Saudi Arabia provides plenty of chaos. I remember last time out in Tier 4 as it was back then, as Tier 3 now. There was plenty of chaos, a lot of drivers retired, and I think we had only 7 finishers in that race, and in Tier 1 we had a dramatic race as well. So, we might see another chaotic race. Safety cars are improved as well with this tight twistiness of the track then, and I can't wait to see how these drivers handle this track because it's a very difficult, demanded track with a lot of corners coming at you thick and fast like Monaco, but a bit wider and more possible overtaking. And also I think we've got 3 DRS zones around here too, around this 6 kilometre track. It looked lovely as night as well, and it's provided some great racing in the past as it was first introduced back in 2021. That a lot of people had a lot of criticism, but actually 2021 was actually a good race back then, as we saw Verstappen and Hamilton go after it at the title. Then 1 year later it was Leclerc versus Verstappen at the year, and Verstappen just finished ahead of Leclerc. Then a year later it was Sergio Perez who won after claiming redemption after he lost out to a win when the safety car came out at the wrong time for him, but got his redemption back 1 year later and took the Grand Prix away from Verstappen, who had a problem with qualifying and made his way through into P2. So Saudi Arabia has always provided some decent racing. It's known for its chaos as well, and we'll see here more tonight.
Oh, we definitely will. The first one starting his lap is Bunny's now. In the Williams, got paired up with Sierra Nacho for the season. Go to teammate, that is, if you ask me. Yeah, he starts his lap. He definitely wants to get a good lap on the way.
Here we are then as we head down into turn number 1. Want to hit the apex, but he just misses out ever so slightly. Connects well with turn 2, so probably carried a bit too much speed as we take all the track in turn 3. Now, coming through this fast twisty section through here, turn 4, carried a lot of speed. Back on the throttle immediately, and you want to keep it tight here. You don't want to drift out wide at all because you lose a lot of lap time. And into this part here, very fast indeed, flicking it in left and right centre, and using that curve on the apex. Don't want to take too much of it, obviously, as you skid off the track. As we head down into turn number 13, let's have a look how he takes it. Very nicely there, flicks the car in very nicely, then runs it out wide. Gets as close to the walls as he can, obviously without touching it, as we make our way now into turn number 15 and 16. Another fantastic corner. He turned it so early, I thought he was going to hit the wall, but he had to correct it on the exit there, which he did do. So luckily for him, he escaped free. This is his first lap, so he's going at it, hanging hammer and tong, and leaving no room for margin there whatsoever. As we head now into turn number 21, a difficult corner it can be, as it proved to be on the exit there, took too much curb, and therefore the back of the car just unbalanced there and unsettled, which caused him not to cover. Oh yeah, by the way, before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to announce that me and Bompia are currently ill right now. We're both having a coughing fit, so if you hear us coughing tonight on the stream, just bear with me, because I've been coughing for a whole month now. As Buddy crossed the line, it's a 28.5 Bompia.
Yeah, I've been on board with Indian Jesus. He was already 5 times faster than Bunny's in the middle split, and now he crosses the line. And 27.3. So a clear gap already at the top between those two. And just to get a run through the reserves that are racing tonight, Baza is in the Aston Martin instead of the Sierra Polishman. Unfortunately couldn't be here. Glowstick is also absent due to food poisoning in the Mercedes. His replacement is not Jack. And then in the AlphaTauri, we next to Sofian, we have someone with a very interesting name, and he replaces Mazels for tonight. And more lap times coming in, not Jack now. The reserve 1/10 away from Indian Jesus, so the fight for pole is already on.
Indeed, good chat from Not Jack as well in the, well, good lap from Not Jack, I must say, in the Mercedes. A 10th separator, exactly a 10th too. And that's going to be very interesting for Paul as well, as a big gap behind, as my ex-commentator KXI is currently in the Red Bull. Then let's see what he's going to do in that Red Bull tonight. It's P3 for the time being with King Panda, the former Tier 4 driver as well, who are fighting for a championship along with the likes of Harry Palmer and Basil Fox too. Basil Fox ended up finished second in the championship. ILT Stevan indeed goes third.
That's how you know there's a lot of time for all the drivers still yet to find. If Stefan goes third, you know, everyone can improve massively on that as DC now into P4 3/10 after behind the Alfa Romeo. So both Mercedes looking very good for that first lap.
And that's very good lap times indeed from Nutjack and DC as they need on the board. Lamar Nuts Itch has gone off the track at turn 21 there and had to bail out of his lap time. He hasn't set a lap time just yet though in the AlphaTauri. He turned off his ERS2, so he will not be completing that lap time. IRT Crack has also invalidated on his lap time too, so interesting names here tonight, and hopefully we won't be too excited with them. But as we head down this final corner on board with the Dutchman of Sierra Nacho, yet to set a lap time with the DRS enabled then for him. Let's see what lap time he could do in that Williams. It's going to be a 28.5 as he puts his car right behind his teammate too for good measure, only separated by 400. So that's how close it is between both Williams at a track like this, which is 6 kilometers long. As Dander in the Alpine goes quickest with a 27.1, so good lap time already, 2/10 above of Indian Jesus, and the time is on. Then can we get into the 26s, I wonder, as Sieb is in the chat saying Thomas and Jamie. ILT Indigo and ILT Bompier. Culpa Paradox, evening lads. Hello to you, mate. Hopefully you're doing alright. Glowstick, get well soon after your food poisoning. I told you not to have many takeaways. James Foster and Papine Strauss in the chat too. So welcome all. Hopefully you're all doing alright. So, last season then, I think it was Tier 4, if I'm not mistaken, or Tier 5 I must say, because there's only 4 tiers now. So it does get confusing from time to time when I say Tier 4, Tier 5, so I've got to remember that there's only 4 tiers. So Nacho won the championship ahead of Mark Wilson by 15 points, and they are both here tonight, I think they are. Is Mark Wilson here tonight? Is he here?
He's not. No, he had some issues with his PS Plus subscription, so he unfortunately couldn't make it.
Oh, that's a shame for him then. So 19 drivers only on this track then, but still provide some great entertainment as majority of drivers are in the pit lane then, as we got rid of 8 minutes of qualifying then, as some drivers failed to set lap times, such as Tobes in the Ferrari, Minucic, IRT Crack, Jay Hartnell, Eisen and Sofian in the AlphaTauri now, as he was in the Aston Martin last season. And he got a few wins last season. I think in Canada was one of them when he defended from I think it was Basil Fox at the time, as I was about to say, is the McLaren, but it's the Aston Martin. So I got to get up to speed on what teams they're in.
Yeah, new season, new cars for everyone. Of course, changes tough to keep up with. But there's Tobes. He has started his lap in the brand new Ferrari, which they of course ran in Las Vegas. It's in the game now as well, and it's looking very beautiful and in the dark nights of Saudi Arabia. Through the first sector. He is currently going a little bit of a lift through those last 3 corners as Tobis. His Ferrari tries to give him a little bit of a toe, but doesn't work out. And he hits the wall, and that's his wing gone. And his quali lap done as well. He had purple in the first sector, I'm not quite sure how accurate that is. But the teamwork already gone very badly between both Ferrari drivers, dragging on speed and Tobes not having the best of communication there.
And unfortunately for Tobes, like you said, the first purple sector has broken his front wing, so a trip to the pits is necessary. Both Ferraris not communicating well with each other, dragging on speed there either. So hopefully dragging on speed hasn't got any damage. I think Tobes avoided him, but not the wall, sadly for him. So that's a shame there for Tobes. I would love to see what lap time could set, because he hasn't actually got a lap time on the board, has Tobes in the second Ferrari. Now, Indian Jesus there, getting on the curve where Carlos Sainz lost it, and Mick Schumacher too, I think, in qualifying. 1/10 down in that first sector, and I think he got it all wrong going into that fast part in the first sector there, as he ends it with turn 13, then getting super close to the walls. I love how... oh, Bunny's was tied somewhere. Is that turn number 2? No, turn 5 I think it is.
It is indeed.
Oh, he's unfortunately retired there.
From the way it looks, he probably clipped the inside wall and then just went straight on. And yeah, his car just hit the wall somewhere, lost the wheel. And that's his qualifying gone. So the first prediction of the season is already wrong. It was James Forsting in the chat saying Club PPR to DNF first, probably in quali. We have a DNF in quali, but it's not the AS driver of Club PR. It's evidently Bunny's. As his qualifying has come to a close prematurely.
And here's Indian Jesus then about to make his way towards the line. He did improve in the middle sector, but can he improve to get pole back? No, he can't. He can improve on his lap time, but not on pole then. So he couldn't hook it up in the first sector. So still plenty of improvement there for Indian Jesus. Just on driving on board with him, he did struggle a bit in turn 21, heading into turn number 22 as he just missed the line there completely. But still plenty of time to be found as we've got majority of drivers then on the track. Claire PR being one of them in the Haas. So it's nice. It's nice.
Bless you. As Jamie's having some struggles with his coughing, I'll go on board with the Dragon of Speed. I don't know if the Mercedes he is. The Mercedes probably is on the lap, isn't he? It's not. No, Jack starting his lap. So Dragon of Speed is the first one to finish the lap, but he goes very, very deep in the last corner. This is the apex by a country mile, and that's of course not what you want to see. He takes it right and tight liner to the finish, and he is going to go up to P7 with a 28.2. Still definitely some time to find, and Sofian right behind him puts in the exact same time as Dragon on Speed, so 3 seconds separating them from crossing the line, and they did the exact same time. That's a rare sight, of course, to see. Panda improves to P7. I think that Haas didn't improve much. Clubia in P10 currently. There's an Alfa Romeo coming up to the line as well. That is Jay Hardnell, and he goes into the pit lane. One of the worst positions to be in this season, being teammates with Stefan, as he starts his lap time.
Yeah, Stephen there going for a lap time in the Alfa Romeo. Then let's see if he can improve on a 27.5. However, I was on board with Claire PR a few moments ago. He went wide coming out of turn 21. He didn't validate, but obviously he lost a lot of time going off the track anyways. Bazza Fox, unfortunately, is in the pit lane fighting for championship as his Aston Martin teammate is stationary. Now he's been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. So that's Indian Jesus too. He's going to be demoted all the way down to last place. And what was going on there with Indian Jesus? He's out of fuel, but surely won't be going that slow either. So unfortunately he's been disqualified and down as P19. So not a good start from Aston Martin as his teammate gets held up, because I don't know why, but his Aston Martin teammate, Jack goes quickest with a 26.8 there in the Mercedes as we see Indian Jesus disappear off the screen. I was about to mention that the Aston Martin of Bazza was first in the pit lane. Then he had to wait because his disqualified teammate came through and blocked him in the pit lane then. So that's a double blow there for Aston Martin.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there, and I'm also not quite sure what just happened to Stefan. He was on his in lap, it looks like, and he has crashed out in turn 22, and there he is. It's even after turn 22. I don't know if there was contact made with that Ferrari. They were kind of close-ish. Dragon on Speed maybe taking another casualty in this qualifying, but I don't want to speculate overly. As he has run out of fuel, maybe Stefan just got caught sleeping and crashed into him. Maybe he just went straight on. Time will tell. I hope maybe Sieb is in the chat. Oh, Dragon on Speed with a very curious pit entry there. Sieb in the pit, maybe he can tell us what has happened with the man in the Alfa Romeo, as that remains a mystery to us right now. The same with Indian Jesus, so this qualifying has already started off with a bang.
Dramatic indeed. Bunny's retired at turn number 4, I believe it was, and now Indian Jesus is out of the session due to be disqualified for blocking the pit lane entry. Almost took his teammate out two for good measure. Now Stefan has crashed at the exit of turn 21 or 2. So, like you said, there was a Ferrari there at the time being. Not quite sure if he was in the way, which caused Stephen off guard. I'm not quite sure if Stefan was on a lap time or not, but however, he's out of the qualifying session at P3 at his best. So, can anybody else out there improve? The McLaren coming towards the final corner as Jack gets out the wall. Oh, Jack! Crack! Hits the wall coming out of turn 21, and he has to go in the pit lane then, and he will not complete that lap time. So we've got plenty of laps still left in this session to complete with 4 minutes left on the clock there. Who can improve? Real DC is out there currently coming towards turn number 3 now. Let's see how he handles this lap. It's going to be a 27.8 as his benchmark to improve. Is he on a lap time? I think he is. Yeah, he is. So still on board with the Mercedes driver then threading the needle to this first sector. No hesitation whatsoever through here. Carrying the speed there as we head now towards turn number 12. Gets a lovely exit as well out of the corner as we head down into turn...
I don't know the turn numbers, but that's a long left turn in which he just gone to 0.1 in the first sector. It's not purple. I've seen people doing 0.0s already in this sector, but 10th off, you can still definitely make that in the last 2 sectors. As he's now on the second DRS straight. Not much time to gain or lose it, just stay close to the wall as you can while minimizing the track distance. And the middle sector split, it is a .3, he is improving 2 tenths, but that's not going to be enough to see him get pole. Maybe he'll jump up to P3 ahead of Stefan in that Alfa Romeo, the Mercedes driver, onto the last corner of the track. He cannot bottle this, otherwise he will be happy as there isn't enough time to go back in the pit lane and go back out again. So this is his only chance, and it looked very solid. He stays middle of the track, that it does lose some time, but it doesn't matter for DC as he goes up into P3.
Yeah, decent lap there from DC in P3, and let's see if he stays there with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go on the clock. We've got AlphaTauri out there who's currently on his flying lap. Oh, he took so much curve on the entry. He just absolutely goes off the track there, and unfortunately validates his lap time. So luckily for him, that's in the first sector, so he can turn off his ERS, cool the tyres down, and recharge that battery and bring the tyres back to the optimal temperature around 90 degrees where you normally want to have them before starting the flying lap. We've got Tobes out there now in the Ferrari. I love to see these cars fly past here in the first sector, just carrying a lot of speed in the corners, fully committed as well, as we head down now into turn 13, dive underneath and get back on the throttle immediately then as we head out of the corner, getting close to the wall as you possibly can without you can scrape it, but obviously don't hit it with your front wing, as we've seen plenty of people do that before in the past. Now through this right left-hander, carrying a lot of speed there too. And we saw, who was it who hit the wall there? I can't actually remember now, but a lot of drivers have hit the wall, including myself, as it's such a high-speed corner, very easy to lose the rear end, especially if you take the curve too much. 21 and 22, now 23 seems like a decent sequence of corners as he gets by them very nicely indeed. He hasn't set a lap time, has the Ferrari driver, so currently against the ropes is the Ferrari driver, and it's probably his one and only chance then to boot himself up the orders. Can he finally hook up a lap time as we make our way now out on turn 27, a distant tow from the Mercedes ahead of us as he heads towards the finish line to start his flying lap. Tobes finally gets a lap time on the board and goes P2.
Very good lap from the Ferrari Club here in behind, goes up into P10. His teammate Aizen is the next one to finish the lap 4 tenths up in the middle sector. He did find even more time in that last one as he goes into P13. That is the AlphaTauri driver as well. Out of this section, the end of sector 1, he has found his way into the wall, as there are a little bit of chaos actually when we're starting the lap time a little bit further back. That's an Alpine as well coming through of Nanda, I think. Indeed it was, and he's off his time. Panda, his teammate, up into P6. What does Nanda do? A little bit of traffic in the last corner, and that may have compromised him as he does improve on his time, but not in his position. So he goes into P3. P2 for Tobes is safe, and Nanda, he goes straight on. That's our 5th retirement, I want to say, but this one seemed quite on purpose, as it just went on board with IoT Crack, and he went a little bit overkill in turn 22, just went off the track into the wall, and that's his quali run over as well. Leon now in the Red Bull, getting that tow from IoT Crack as well, even though it wouldn't help him too much. Every little bit counts, especially with tight margins such as these, and he goes into P5 only 20 thousandths ahead of Stefan Notjak, improving his lap time even more to boast on everyone else, getting pole position with even safer margins. Good PR, not on the lap anymore. Same goes for Aizen, the AlphaTauri behind Sofyan, he's on the lap.
I'm on board with KXI at the moment. This is making his way down into the final corner, and that was a great lap from Jack to put himself into P1. Stays on pole position. Nobody can challenge him unless the AlphaTauri makes his way now towards the line. Goes P10. Here comes KXI. Crosses the line. It's only P8 for him in the Red Bull then. So let's see if anybody else out there. King Panda isn't on a lap time, so he won't improve or take pole. Dragon of Speed is about to make his way towards the line now. It's a 28.2, improves by 800ths of a second, and he goes into P12 or P11. Sorry, Nacho in P15 has lost his front wing then, so he won't go any faster than P15 then. So it's a shame there for the Tier 5 champion making his debut for Tier 4, or Tier 3 it must be said, and he'll be off into the pit lane then to retire from the session. So Jack, he did join Tier 1, I remember, back in Monaco, and he put up a mighty defence as well. I think he got a punch in front, if I remember that correctly too. So he has been in Tier 1, and now he's currently first. And let's see if he can continue this good performance then into the race. The only man to get in the 26ers. And here we are with the results then for qualifying. Jack takes pole ahead of Tobes, and Tobes and Nando are quite close as well. DC in P4, Leon in P5, Stevan in P6, King Panda 7th ahead of KXI, Crack in P9, Sofian in P10 ahead of the German in the Ferrari of Dragon of Speed. Claire PR joins his teammate in P13 in Haas. Buddies in P14 crashed out very early in his qualifying session. Nacho P15, Jay Hartnell 16, Bazza Fox 17th, My Nut Itch in P18, and Indian Jesus, who's got disqualified. I'd love to see what he could have done, but unfortunately he got disqualified. And My Nut Itch only did a 36.2 as well, so hopefully he's got more race pace in hand.
Yeah, a little bit of information on Indian Jesus as well with his disqualification. He got spun in the pit entrance because his rears, as we've seen with multiple drivers as well, of course it's a little bit of a tidy pit entry, so it's easy to happen. He got reset to the track and then he couldn't accelerate anymore. So he was stood stationary, and of course with cars coming into the pit, the game registers that as a blocking of the pit lane. He got disqualified, he has to start from the back. Well, he probably could have challenged for pole position or at least the front row.
It's a shame there for Indy. Jesus, we all remember that famous clip in Imola when he got taken out by the Aston Martin safety car that came out of the pit lane. And we'll see what happens in this race. We'll see Berm Islander make an appearance here on the track. How many times is the question, because I definitely dare say we would definitely get a safety car due to the amount of incidents we've had here in the past. People retired and qualified, spinning out on their first laps. We'll see then if any chaos is unfolded here tonight at the Jeddah Grand Prix. 25 laps, I believe, this race is, and a long 25 laps. The strategy, I think, is the hards to mediums, but safety cars will definitely change all of that once we head into the race then. So we'll see a few medium runners being added to the equation at the start of the Grand Prix, knowing there could be a potential safety car at the beginning of it.
Yeah, very might. There might even be some daredevils starting on the soft tires, but I'm highly questioning if that's the right choice. Usually, indeed, it's a hard, medium, hard, whatever way you want to interpret it. 26 laps, I believe it is, but I might be wrong. It's definitely somewhere in the region of 25, 26. So, yeah, 15 laps, 14 laps on hards, 12 laps on those mediums. If you have a regular strategy, of course, it is Saudi Arabia. The walls are very close. Mistakes are very, very easily made. I know from past experience as well. So safety cars are almost a guarantee here.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Bobby. We're just waiting for all the drivers to ready up, then we can get into the race then. I can't wait to see what happens at the start of the Grand Prix then. I don't think there is a formation lap unless it's been turned off, because last night when I had a race, the formation lap was on and it looks smooth sailing as well. So formation lap could be on the return, because I actually don't see any problems with the formation lap anymore. So I dare say it should be turned on. No, it's not going to be turned on then. Yeah, it is. My bad. I just saw a red light and thought, yeah, the race is about to go.
Yeah, so this does give us an opportunity to talk about the tires. Let's see.
There's more medium runners out there than the hard runners, and also, if you hear me muting my mic, that's because I'm coughing, so I don't want you to hear me coughing in the background, so I apologise about that. But I'd love to see the runner-up in the championship, second place, Mark Wilson, in this race, to see what he could have done as well, as he was fighting with Nacho in the championship, who's currently down in P15 along with his teammates. So both Williams down there have split strategies. Jack has gone for the hardcore power tyre. He's got mediums surrounding him then, so that's going to be very interesting to see if he can hold on to P1 after the first lap with those guys on the better tyres at the stage of the race. Then we've got Leon, Steban on the hards, along with King Pandas on the mediums, and yeah, look at that, there's only about 5 drivers on the hard compound tyres. The rest have gone for the mediums.
Yeah, another great tyre to start on, apparently, for the drivers. I think, of course, medium's good in the first stint. If you can drive away, then they can definitely work. If not, you're gonna be in a world of trouble. That's the beauty of it, that's the risk of it, and that's the strategy of Formula 1.
Be on the right tyres at the right time, as I found out last night. I don't think there's any chances of rain appearing, so it's going to be the dry tyres, the mediums or the hards or the softs potentially. I know Indian G's got soft compound tyres spare in its disposal after being disqualified then, so we could see some softs later on in this race too. The tyre wear is not actually bad around here. I've driven this track by myself as well and did it back in 2022. I don't think the tyre wear is too bad in this game, is it?
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm not driven this track.
It depends on how aggressive you drive, but yeah, it's fine. They can last quite a lot of time. Oh, as I was on board with Stefan, who has found a very enthusiastic way to warm his tires up, hitting the wall before the last turn, and wriggling very aggressive with his wheel and with his throttle to get those tires warmed up, instead of the more usual way that people do it nowadays. But he's one of the old school.
So all the drivers then line up on the grid. All 19 of them were missing Mazzles and Mark Wilson too. Jack on pole position, but he's got a Ferrari who might be coming up the inside into turn 1 like Fernando Alonso did on Sergio Perez this year in the Aston Martin. Claire PR has been disqualified, but he's already lined up on the grid, so his tyres should be warmed up, ready for the start of the race. Will they be sliding around, I wonder? We're just waiting the lights, and 3, 4, 5 lights then. For season 10, we are underway in Jeddah, and Toes gets a decent start off the line. He will challenge Jack into turn 1. He might take the lead of the race, which he does do into turn 1. So Jack already lost 1 place there, but as expected on those hard compound tyres. And let's see what happens in this midfield. As you can see, Stevan momentarily side by side with Leon, as they're both on the hard compound tyres, then stay ahead of each other. But look at this then. We've got King Panda up the inside. Into turn 5 we go. But Crack has the outside line. Went off the track too for good measure. Now Sofian looks like he was side by side with someone, but the timing graphic is glitched there. Looks like they got away with Scabe, but the McLaren is a bit out of shape there going out in the first sector. Now King Panda might capitalise. Will he send a lunge into turn 13? He's not even going down the inside. But look at this then. Into turn 13 we go. The Red Bull of KXI deep on the brakes, anticipating Sofian up the inside there. Will take advantage. Goes underneath him. But they continue their fight now as we head into this right left-hander. KXI backs out of it. He doesn't want any of this whatsoever. But Sofian there got a bit deep. I might allow KXI to come back through. But however, Steve, I might be under massive pressure, which he is, because 2 cars Steve past him with a bit of contact too for good measure, and now Crack and Leon are ahead as well. So Steve must have had a problem coming out that left-hander there. Now we've got Leon all over the road too. There's contact. Crack has hit the back of Leon there, and his boss is right behind him too, so you won't like to see that. But as you can see, that Crack pulls the left hand side. King Panda is fighting with Stevan with 2 different groups there going into turn number 27, the last corner. Crack deep on the brakes, he'll understeer probably off the track there with Leon. We're doing a switchback, but I expect him to come into pit lane at the end of this lap because I have no grip whatsoever. So the first lap is done and dusted already, and it's Crack who's on a disadvantage.
Yeah, nightmare for the McLaren driver, losing his wing in the first lap. Already the top. There's an incident. That's Leon getting spun. I think that was Steban who went a little bit deep, hit the Red Bull from behind. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course. Time table's not doing us any favors, but it's definitely the top 4 who have already driven away both Mercedes and Alpine and a Ferrari in that leading group, and they are loving life at the moment. Everyone else is behind. As Sofian has a big snap of oversteer coming out of turn 7 or 8. That is now as well even more problems for Davsaris. He got caught on that curb, dragging on speed, maybe having a little bit of profit from it as KSI has been slowed down and goes around the outside. That's a beautiful move done by the Ferrari driver, of course, on pressure tires, on better tires I should say, mediums versus hards, but that's still a wonderful move to pull off as Sofian is sliding around. In turn 16, Nacho has had a problem as well in that same corner, and he has lost 2 positions, 1 to his teammate, 1 to Baza, and now 1 to Jay Hartnell as well, who moves past into P15, still side by side. So into turn 22 they make a little bit of contact, but keep it respectful, and Nacho stays ahead for the time being. More position chases up front as Dragon on speed and Sofian are battling in the last corner, side by side, giving each other plenty of space, and Sofian with that better traction moves up into P7, and he might want to cope now as well on Stefan, having that momentum into turn 1. They both go side to side. Stefan pushes him a little bit wide, and Sofian goes off track Gives the position back to Stefan, I think. Indeed he does, but now KXI has come through as well, still side by side through turn 5, and that's Sufjan down into P8.
Wow, that's a lot of battling on the opening lap of this race as well. It was Stefan who made contact with Leon there, and Sufjan loses the back end of the car, has to go off the track again. And that's the second time he's done that, I think. And here comes Dragon of Speed, capitalising on that mistake. Into turn 13 we go. Like you said, Dragon of Speed around the outside into 13 was an incredible move there. And he moves his Ferrari into P8 then. So let's have a look at the most lost and gained. Most gained is Indian Jesus from P19 to P12. So great start there from the Indian-German driver in the Aston Martin, and making his way up through the field as well. I think he's on the medium compound tyres, if I'm correct. Yes, he is then. And DRS has been enabled. Here comes the Haas of Club PR going side by side. Looks like he got better straight line speed using that deployment. Goes off the track though, outbraking himself into turn 21 and turn 22. Now this is going to be dangerous because it could be a chaotic moment where he comes back on the track very safely indeed. So thankfully not being wiped out there as we head down into turn 27. There's a 3 wide moment almost as Indian Jesus taps, and he gets tapped again by the Haas there, gets completely finished off and resets the track as well for good measure. So I call that a stream, whether you're allowed to do it or not. But yeah, optimistic move, just carried too much speed, later the brakes. KXI is ahead of Stefan. You don't know where to look, there's so much action going on the field there. Stefan looks like he's having more problems lock up the rear. Look at the back of the car sliding as well, so might have to adjust his brake bias to 56 or 57 to reduce the rear locking of those brakes as well, because it looks like he's struggling early stages of this race too.
Yeah, as Buddies has retired, first casualty of the race, doesn't cause a safety car. Again, it's the same place as where he found his final moments in qualifying. No safety car so far for that incident. His car's been cleared up already. So it might be the same mistake, might be a different mistake from the Canadian in that Williams, but that's a nightmare start for the Williams team, as Nacho is in the pit as well for new tyres in that last new wing for good measure. So Williams not looking very good at this concurrent moment.
Nah, unfortunately for Bunnies, there's both Hasses go side by side. I think that's Clerpion and Eisen swapping positions as Eisen was in the Ferrari. He's out of the DRS range now as his teammate has it, so it might boost him towards Sofian in the Alpha Tauri. Eisen goes wide coming out of turn to 23, and now Jay Hartnell will be all over the back of him too, but I think he might get DRS, but yes he does, because he's still in the detection point at that moment in time. Now they're going wheel to wheel. Will Jay Hartnell send it in the final corner?
Ooh. Just sorry to interrupt you there, but as you said it already, commentator Stefan, he needed to improve his brake bias, cuts the white line in the pit entry for good measure. He breaks his front wing in the last corner, having locked the rears, and he pulls into the pit lane. Dragon Speed hit him as well. I don't think the German has wing damage though on that Ferrari car, but definitely lost a good amount of time. He does have wing damage to update.
Yes, looks like Dragon of Speed is struggling through the first sector, and the respectful German moves out of the way. Then good sportsmanship as always from Dragon of Speed. I'm surprised he didn't pit, you know, but I don't know. I don't think he knew how severe that front wing damage was. And now the Haas of Club PR is all over the back of him. Has to go off the road too for good measure to avoid everybody. And Dragon of Speed will have to do a full lap without an end plate, which is mighty crucial around here as well. Nanda has overtaken Jack. That was a few laps ago, so apologies we missed that. There's lots of action in this midfield here tonight. And Jack on the hard compound tyres then, so it's just a patient waiting game for not Jack in the Mercedes, because he knows, oh, Clerpiard hits the wall there, going into the fast right-hander indeed, and has to go off the track too. So surprised there's no penalties, because I've seen a lot of drivers go off the track here, as Indian Jesus gets a good run on Jay Hart now, and here he comes then in the Aston Martin once again, making places after he spun into turn 20 number 7, and now there's a Haas ahead of us. That's a Haas of Eisen, who's lost his end plate too. I think he hit the wall as well, and Dragon of Speed, in fact Indian Jesus all over the back of him, and in the Aston Martin further up. Claire PR has overtaken Sofian before turn 27, and now Eisen is making a move. In fact, here we are then
with Indian Jesus overtaking Eisen, and Eisen might be in a world of trouble, as Jay Hardno as well goes to remove the Haas driver into the pit lane, of course with that damage to wing. Dragon of Speed as well into the pit lane, also a damage to wing. So the costs of the end plates are through the roof already in this Grand Prix. Panda further up the field, he has crashed in the same place that Bunnies did. So turn 5 taking a lot of casualties this race. Looks like he clipped the inside wall as well, and then just went straight on. So turning in too early, braking too early, 1 and 2. has cost him this race. Club Piast is getting stuck on the curb, and there is the first penalty for Sofyan, and he goes off track once again in the same exact place. Third time he's done that this race, so he definitely needs to get that sorted out, or he's going to be racking up those penalties like it's sugar.
Yeah, Sofyan, former Aston Martin driver last season. More yellow flags. That's a Red Bull who's fallen down the order. Is that Leon in the Red Bull? Yes, it is then. So Leon in the chat, unfortunately, he's been taken out quite a few times, if I remember correctly, and now gone for a spin, but don't go backwards, don't go forwards, mate, because you get disqualified, if that makes sense, because it was facing the wrong way around. But Nanda, slowly but surely catching Tobes in P1 then. So ever since dispatched, not Jack, he's been catching that Ferrari ever so slightly. Can he get himself in DRS range? The battle for the top two is on, as Esteban has now overtaken Leon, as he was the driver that took him out initially, as there's more yellow flags in that sector as well, as Leon's dropping down the order going for another spin, and there he is then in the Red Bull. Just a lot of bad luck. I know this driver has a lot of potential. He's a really great guy. He's the German driver of Leon. Here comes Sofyan on clear PR, moves himself back up into P6 then, and hopefully he can keep on the track this time in that first sector, because he got off it quite a few times, and as a result that's been a penalty. But yeah, I do feel sorry for Leon, because I know he's got some mighty pace, but he's been so unlucky recently in the past few races, past few seasons as well. Incident's not been him, been his fault, but I really hope he could find some momentum and get it going, because once he gets it going, he's got definitely good pace. I know him and trying to remember, Ross used to be teammates back in Alpine, had some strong pace as well. Those two could have been really high up in the championship, but they suffered a lot of bad luck too with penalties picking up, as Leon picks a penalty in the pit lane. I presume this could be retiring, because he's really struggling out here, unless he stays out there, of course, which I respect him for. And Nanda is in the DRS range of Tobes then, so putting the Ferrari under pressure, and now the Ferrari's used a lot of ERS too. Same with Nando, who's got the DRS now. So with Nando having the DRS on the back of the Ferrari, can he save some of that and try and regenerate him later to try and pass him down the straight?
That's definitely what he would want, of course. Use the ERS to get close, then save it for a couple of laps, and then use everything you save to get past and drive away. That's basically the tactic that you wanna employ now with the DRS to his aid as well. It's just easier to stay with the driver in front. A little bit more about Leon. He spun in that long left-hander. I can't remember the turn number of it. Lost his wing end plate. He was around, I think, the 20th driver to have lost his end plate in this race already. Goes into, and then he just let everyone pass, which is definitely respectful. Goes into the pit lane. Unfortunately, picks up a penalty, probably for because of that wing damage as well. But he is now in P17 as IoT Crack has gone into the pit again. He went onto the hards in the start as he picked up some damage. Indeed he has. That's the second wing for the McLaren going onto the car, and another wing end plate not surviving this Jeddah street circuit.
Yeah, can anybody handle the heat of Jeddah then in this night race? It's proven to be a difficult one. We've seen plenty of people make contact and go off the track too, and Sofyan looks like he's back in momentum now. It looks like he was struggling early stage of this race, as Esteban has picked himself up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He's still got clear PR all over the back of him, followed by India Jesus. Remember, he spun as well into the final corner trying to fight, but he got tagged around by a Haas. And Nanda is really close in the back of Tobes then, so let's see how he plays this out. They're both dropping Jack really quickly as well. 6 seconds is the gap between Nanda and Jack. Here comes Nanda then. We try and make a move on the Ferrari into one. No, he doesn't really want to go for it. You can see him there, later the brakes as he locks the rears up into turn number 1. And here comes Claire PR then out the final corner. We'll get a decent run on the AlphaTauri. Let's see if he makes an overtake into one with the helping hand of the DRS. Then lap 9 out of 25. This is the first race of the season here in Cone. But as we make our way down into turn 1, he can't quite make a move and stays behind the AlphaTauri for the time being, as Indian Jesus keeps hovering out the 1 second range of that all-important DRS, which there are 3 DRS zones around here, so I can't afford to drop out of it whatsoever. As Basil Fox makes a lunge into turn 27, as Jaguar speed in the Ferrari might make it 3 abreast, you know. There's an Aston Martin in a sandwich with the Ferrari and the Haas either side, and he gets swamped to the straight with no DRS at all as we head down into turn number 1. Jaguar speed blast past them both, and still makes the apex despite having a lot of speed too. So Dragon's speed is up into P12 in the Ferrari, and these guys pitted early doors in this race too to get off their tyres after sustaining potential front wing damage.
Yeah, on soft tyres, they definitely have to make another pit stop. At some point in this race, there's something happened.
Yeah, Safian has crashed out and a full blown safety car has just appeared. Safian just lost the back end out of turn number 27. The rear end of the car will not live with it, and unfortunately he is out of the race then. So, third retirement causes a safety car, and we're going to see some pit stops then. I dare say, Bompierre, that this benefits the medium runners, do you think?
I'm not too sure actually, because when you start at the house you can go to mediums now, and they will definitely make it, of course, with the safety car staying now for a couple of laps. It will be, let's say, 12 laps for those mediums if you started on the hards, of course, and that's a perfect fine window for the mediums to go in. So I think it actually benefits the hard runners, even though on first sight it's probably not what you would think. So everyone who has pitted already, go into the mediums. It is a better choice.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I wasn't thinking properly, but yeah, the mediums can make it towards the end. The tyre life is not too bad around here, so Tobes and Nanda on the hard compound tyres will find himself Jack right behind, but those two had mighty pace on those medium compound tyres. Now with Jack in the on the mediums, can he try and fight these two later on in this race? This safety car bunched up the whole pack then once again, except Leon because he's been a lap down unfortunately. Is that him who's just gone through? Yeah, he's not a lap down, so he's unlapped himself, and hopefully he can catch the back of this train then, and he hasn't even overtaken Sofian yet either, as he's Jacko's speed is in the pit lane too, along with Stevan, as they all take advantage under the safety car. So safety car has settled things down and brought everybody back together. DC, however, P4, I haven't mentioned much of him. Been quite lonely in this race, but here he is then. Started P4, is still in P4, and he was on the hard medium compound tyres, if I remember correctly. Yes, he was, because he switched from mediums to hard. So a lonely race for him, but let's see if he can catch up with his teammate and try and fight the two ahead of him. Both Mercedes best position so far, P3 and P4 taking the maximum points out of everybody, as everybody else's teammates is further down than they expect to be.
Yeah, it's a good team effort so far for both Mercedes guys. Just keeping it steady, not picking up any damage, not picking up any penalties. So yeah, just having a nice drive on Monday night in P3, P4 in Jeddah, of course, and now Jack on the mediums. He has to make those tires count in the first couple of laps, otherwise he is going to be stuck behind both drivers. It's of course very tough to overtake when you're third in a DRS train, but he has to make the best out of it. Otherwise, it's not going to be a great scenario for the Irishman.
Yeah, no DRS after 2 laps during after a safety car. So, while those two laps, he has to capitalise on those medium compound tyres to try and take on Nanda and Tobes. He lost the lead on the first lap towards Tobes, as Tobes went down the inside with a lovely move there in the Ferrari. Then Nanda got him later on in the race too on lap 3, I think it was. Didn't see the move obviously because everybody else in the midfield was having a scrap, but hopefully Jack has the pace to come back at these two and make it a good fight indeed. And let's see how long those mediums can last out for. I think they're a good tyre towards this stint as well, so I can't wait to see what happens in this middle stint. KXI, Stevan, Crack and Leon on the medium compound tyres too, but Leon unfortunately hasn't caught up. But respect him for staying in this race too, because I think me being so far down like that, I would have retired from the session. And he got rid of his penalty too, because he had a 5-second time penalty if he's been in the pit lane. So yeah, managed to get rid of that, and hopefully he can catch the back of the field before the safety car comes in. Also, Nacho's sake as well at P15. He's on the hard compound tyres, interestingly, so thinks he can take them towards the end, but hasn't gone for the mediums unless he's already used those medium compound tyres, of course, as well in this race. We only saw about 5 hard runners in this race too at the start of this Grand Prix. Now it's all changed with people pitting for brand new front wings earlier on, and also the safety car bunching things up as well. So hopefully Leon can catch the back of this pack. I think one more lap as well after this lap.
Yeah, it does look like it. And while we're waiting, I just want to get your opinion on ducks.
Ducks?
Ducks, yeah. Like the quack quack things. Alright, that will do. Of course, very interesting creatures, the ducks walking on 2 legs, being little weird guys. Yeah, definitely an interesting tyre strategy once again being reverted, as you said at the start. 6 guys now on the mediums, the rest on hards. We saw quite a big fuel spread, even though the tyre choice were mostly the same in that first stint. So I'm wondering if it's going to be the same this time round, as Leon is doing his best to catch up, but on all the tyres, even than the rest, he's probably not going to make it this lap. So next lap will be when the safety car is coming in.
Him pushing hard on those midi compound tyres too will take him more life out of those tyres as well. So he's really pushing hard. That's the best tyre temperature towards when he gets towards the pack. I think he'll catch them, but it could be nip and tuck there. 31 seconds away from Nacho as he's pushing as hard as he can to get back. Hopefully he can make it back too. But that caught me off guard, Bob. Yeah, out of all the things you could have talked about, you talk about ducks.
Yes.
Well, how did that come to your head?
Well, it was just something to talk about because there was a safety car, there's a stalemate in the race. Everyone's just driving at slow pace, and then you need something else to talk about. And I saw, I don't know, I was just thinking about things, and then ducks come into mind.
What do you think about Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that it? Is that it?
Yeah, it was. Race was good. The clown show for the rest, though. What was your take on it?
Well, I've got to say I didn't watch the race. I didn't watch practice or qualifying. This is the first time I think in my life that I haven't watched a live event of F1, whether it's FP1 all the way to qualify, all the way to the race.
I very highly doubt when you were an infant you watched through practice one, mate.
I did with my dad when I was younger.
Okay, fair enough.
Well,
did you enjoy it back then, or?
Yeah, I enjoyed all of it, mate. I like MotoGP is spiced up to be a great championship as well. We had a race around Qatar, I think, this weekend at MotoGP, and that spiced up to be a great one in the championship too. Pecco Bagnaia versus Jorge Martin in the motorsports category for MotoGP. So I think the last race of the season is next weekend in Valencia, and also for F1's last race of the season is Abu Dhabi, and that's going to be the last race of the 2023 season, which hasn't been the best of the season, but you've got to give respect to Verstappen and Red Bull and Perez too for dominating the sport, because obviously they're the best team. Verstappen's one of the best drivers in this current generation too, so he deserves to be champion. And let's see what happens next season then. But Pironi's just started the first race of the season in Cone in season 10, so we've got plenty more action every Thursday, every Monday night. You can watch it before we get going again in 2023 March, and the season will be ended before that too, before we move on to season 11. But look at that in the foreground there. The purple in the foreground is just beautiful.
Cheers, mate.
And we can see then the safety car peeling off into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Then there goes the Aston Martin safety car. Tobes can go whenever you want, but when would he go? Right about now. So I thought he'll leave it later, but as we get racing once again on lap 12 out of 25, almost halfway there, Tobes will lead the Grand Prix then on lap 13 as Nando might be under pressure from Jack, but Jack is a bit too far back. He has to capitalise on these medium compound tyres right now at this stage. He can't afford to linger in P3 on those mediums, having the best tyres out of the lot. Then as we head down into turn number 1, is there any moves? I think everybody's too far back from each other unless Crack can make a move on Basil Fox. Yes, he is. Down the inside into 1, gets him around the outside into 2. So great move there from ILT Crack. I'm not quite sure if there's any contact involved because I only saw the aftermath of it. But however, he's up into P13 then as all the drivers slide and slither away in the first set. So you see plenty of people making mistakes this particular part of the track with loads of drivers there getting on the curb and skating away. And as we head now towards turn 13 on board with the Ferrari driver of Tobes still leading this Grand Prix. Expect Jack to be quick at this stage of the Grand Prix too. DC, I think he was caught napping a bit too because the gap was 1.4 as Nacho and Leon are fighting for P15. I think Leon is ahead of the Dutchman now, and I'm about to cross, so you take over, Bompier.
Alright, good luck with that. Yeah, DC was indeed sleeping on the restart. You could see him just trailing by his teammate. Almost creating his own restart. He just maybe got the car in the wrong gear, or he was just not sharp enough, one of the two. But it has cost him dearly as a little bit further back Eisen has gone off track, and Dragon Speed might have a run on Stefan, but he doesn't with the Alfa Romeo using ERS. KXI getting past DC on better tyres as well. Indian Jesus and Jay Hardenall swapping position, so it's already a good comeback drive from the Aston Martin starting last then making his way up, spinning, being last again, and now into P7. Craig and Isaac side by side on the start-finish straight. Is Isaac going to make a move into turn 1? Yes, he is. He brakes very late, almost hits the back of the Ferrari in front of him, and he has to correct his car because of that. And Craig makes his way into P12, and now he has a run on Dragon on speed. Not quite close enough to actually make a move though, but the German is not looking like he has the best of times on those tyres. Craig probably wanting to make a move rather sooner than later. And Jamie has not yet returned from his coughing, so let's go.
I was actually talking there. When you finished talking, I forgot my mic was muted, so I was actually saying Crack wants to make the use of the medium compound tyres. So I thought you interrupted me, Bob, but I realised I was still on mute.
Alright, go on then.
Nah, I just finished what I said now. You go on.
Okay, yeah, let's continue watching Crack as he is the one putting the most pressure on the driver in front of him. Not using his ERS to the full capacity though, so he might want to go for the overtake into the last corner. Maybe even eyeing a double overtake as he gets very close to the back of Dragon on speed. Probably hits him as well, and that cost him some connection. Now back to 3/10 away, further up the road into Stefan. Making a move on the AlphaTauri. Correct, not close enough, so it's only the Alfa Romeo on the AlphaTauri into the last corner. This is the apex, but that is P9 for the Dutchman in the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, great move on my nuts itch on Stevan there. His name's backwards. I can't even say his name properly when it's yeah, it's quite interesting name. But ILT Crack is ahead of Dragon on speed before turn number 1 then, and now can he make his way through on my nuts itch in the AlphaTauri? As Stevan made his way past the medium compound tyres, but apparently, according to Posh Evans, it says on board with Nanda's car it looks glitched. Does it look glitched to you?
It's fine for me. I don't know what glitch George might see, but he's looking like a very normal French Alpine car.
Yeah, Jack there still in P3. DRS has been enabled. He has to get past these guys while these tyres are still in the best condition. He can't afford to stay behind these two, but the two ahead of him have had a thrilling race so far, Nanda and Tobes, ever since Nanda got past. But look at Jack then, use the DRS to his perfection, might get 2 for 1, but he closed the door, has to switch lines. Jack takes the lead of the Grand Prix at turn number 27, or 23 I must say, messed it up perfectly there I did, and here we are then. Can Tobes fight his way past? Look at Nanda then, this is what I love about this track. He just come with a lot of speed, and Nanda might take the lead of the Grand Prix. Will he get 2 for 1? No, he wisely backs out of it, used the DRS. We saw Kevin Magnussen do this on Lewis Hamilton down his turn number 1. DC's ahead of KXI 1 again. And as we head down, I think DC's had a moment coming at the final corner, just saw him lose the back end of the car. But once again on lap 16, Nanda's close to the back of Jack, and KXI overtakes DC for P4, so those two have their scraps. KXI can't pull away from the Brits in the Mercedes as Indian Jesus moves himself up into P6, so I'd love to see him in the fight there, the top 3, where I dare say probably deserves to be after the disqualification. But looks like it was a driver error, as you said. He locked up in the pit lane and couldn't get moving again because he ran out of fuel. But this is shaping up to be a really great race. Now Jack is in front, but I don't think he could break away from this DRS train because the DRS, 3 DRS zones around here. In fact, Tobes is outside the DRS range of Nanda, so he must have made a mistake in that first sector, which just momentarily dropped him out of DRS range. But can he get himself back in it now, as Nanda looks like he's in a really great position to stick on the back of the Mercedes driver before his mediums run out.
Yeah, he's looking very good. Tobes, on the other hand, he is running low on ERS, so he's going to have a tough job getting back in the DRS, as now he doesn't have it for this straight, and that's crucial. It's probably going to be impossible for him to get back, at least before the end of this lap, and then he needs to get it somewhere during the next lap. A bit further back, Jay Hardnell losing another position now to Craig. He lost it to his teammate Steban the lap prior, both on medium tyres. The guys overtaking him. Back to the front we go as Nanda is on the back of Not Jack, stays behind for the final corner, and Tobes is 1.3 behind. That looks like a very, very, very tough job to get back in. Clear PR is still on the back of Indian Jesus. Is he going to overtake him into turn 1? Maybe. It doesn't look like he has the straight line speed to go for it. Is the Aston Martin. Ooh, big moment for Not Jack in turn 1 and turn 2 as well. He slides it. Tobe has to slam on the brakes, and that has cost him daily. Nanda is now in the lead, and he is clear. 1.6, 1.5 seconds. A little bit, 2 tenths already gained by Not Jack, but Not Jack and Tobes They have to work together. There, as Nander has gone off the track and he spins and he is in the wall. He's out. Nander is out of this Grand Prix. He got stuck on the curve, got back on the track, lost the car again. He was just about clear in the lead, and now he's out of the Grand Prix.
Heartbreak moment there from Nander. It looks like he was in a really great position. He pulled out, he broke the DRS towards himself and Jack, and now on the curb, like you said, is landing all over the place. That is unfortunate. Heartbreak. Nander's left the session in rage there, tried to save the car, but at the back end was just complaining and tried to overcorrect it, but he couldn't do so. So the safety car is out. So, Bobja, in this scenario, do you think some people might go for the soft compound tyres? Maybe indeed Jesus, because got some brand new ones in his disposal?
Yes, I think in this scenario, only 8 laps to go, you have to go soft tyres. The safety car will stay out for 2-3 more laps, but if you don't go on the soft tyres, there are just too many laps, too many overtaking opportunities for other people to get back past you. The real one in a pickle right now is not Jack, because he cannot react to anything that anyone does. He has to make the call. Let's see what he does. If I were him, I would go into the pit. He does not. Tobes is going into the pit lane. KXI into the pit lane. And everyone behind is going into the pit lane. Except for not Jack. And this is what I was talking about. He was in the pickle. And he has probably made the wrong choice by staying out. He's going to be the only one on all tyres. And there's a little bit of collision even in the back Eisen and I refuse to say that name. The AlphaTauri making some sort of contact. Nacho now giving a live line as well. People actually going onto the medium tires, even though it's only going to be 5 laps remaining at the end of this race. The top 4 might look very, very different at the end of this race.
Oh, Jack, I dare say he'll drop like a stone. Oh, is there any point of pitting for Jack? Because, let's face it, he will drop way down the field with the guys on fresh and medium / soft. So, to prevent that from happening, would he have to go to the pit lane and just try and fight from last place and gain as many positions as he can? Because he's not going to win this Grand Prix for sure now.
I mean, everything can happen. If for example, Tobes and KXI battled each other like they were in the Colosseum in Rome, then, you could still win. But if they don't, then it's going to be, pretty much a mission impossible.
Mission impossible indeed for Jack. It's so difficult because me and you, we've been in this scenario before, and when you first, and when the safety car comes out, you don't know what to do because you're in the lead, you've got nobody to respond to, and when people do respond, you can't pit because you're outside the white line. So it's such a difficult scenario to be in. It looks common to stay out there because if you pit, you lose a lot of track position, but everybody went to the pit lane. So yeah, in hindsight, it's a beautiful thing, but in the moment, you just don't know.
Exactly, hindsight's a beautiful thing. If he pits, that's the other side of the story. If he pits and no one else does, then he is the one with the problem. Being in the lead when the safety car comes out at this stage is it's not ideal. It's not what you want.
It's cool for Jack because he was in the top 3 majority of this race, fighting with Nander and Tobes as well. KXI managed to get in between him as well, actually ahead of Tobes, despite him being in the pit lane first. So I wonder how that happened, unless he picked up some slight wind damage. But however, still in P3. KXI, a great shot of winning this race too, on a brand new set of mediums. But bearing in mind though, some guys behind are on a set.
I don't know if that's on me, but Jimmy has just stopped speaking. Check if the stream is still alive.
Don't worry, Bumpy. I was coughing, mate. I was coughing.
Alright, I was a little bit scared because you cut out mid-sentence, but there we go.
Yeah, I tried to finish the sentence, but I just coughed. So yeah, if you do hear me not completing sentences or muting my mic, that's because I'm coughing in the background. So I don't want any of you to hear my coughing unless you don't really like that, of course. But DC, he's been a P4 all this race. Like, I've not seen him move any position. He's been a P4 the whole time, and he stayed where he started, whereas everybody else has jumped up and down the field. Jack is still in the lead of this Grand Prix, but for how long is the question? Or it's not even when. It's not even if. It's when he'll be overtaken by those guys. Indeed, but mediums versus new softs. and let's see who comes out. Mazel says my money is on the Indian Jesus, and guess what? That'd be a great bet. But Mazel's, remember, mate, what happened at turn number 27? Indian Jesus spun. You might get a penalty for that, not because he made contact, it's because he resets your track. We caught it on stream too, which you're not allowed to do unless it's extenuating circumstances, like you beached on a curb somewhere. But he resets the track by himself because he got frustrated, so he might have shot himself in the foot there. And if he does win this Grand Prix, he'll have to pull out a big gap indeed over the rest of the guys to make sure he gets that penalty margin.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you as well, Mazos, for that information. His girlfriend doesn't eat duck, but because she used to have one as a pet. I think that's the greatest news I've heard today. So thank you for that.
Never thought ducks would be introduced into this race, but here we are, while the world living. And Jack then once again controls the safety car restart with people on brand new set of tyres right behind, and it's going to be a matter of time before Jack's get overtaken by the rest of them. It's a sinking feeling, really. You know you're going to get overtaken, but you've got to try your best and see what happens. You never know if more safety cars. You never know if the guys behind start squabbling too hard and make contact with each other. But it's going to be.
Sorry to interrupt, but one could say he's a sitting duck.
Oh my goodness me. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, you know. But here we are then, a safety car restart. 5 laps to go in this race. DRS will be enabled. KXI weaving on the straight as we head down into one of the Mercedes of DC, making a move on Tobes there, trying to get a podium. In the back, I can see Claire PR, Steve, but looks like Tobes gets a better exit. However, further behind, we've got Alpha Romeo gets a decent exit on Indian Jesus. Here we are, that's late break. He goes off the track with Indian Jesus. Off the track, he spun! And he gets tagged by his teammate. He's out of the Grand Prix, just like that.
But both Aston Martins out of the Grand Prix, and that's not a safety car. Chaos, as Stefan wanted to overtake Indian Jesus into turn 5, misjudges his braking point, goes off track. I didn't quite catch what happened to the Aston Martin car, but both of the Aston Martins DNF in the blink of an eye. That's rather unfortunate for both of them. This does give an opportunity, though, to not Jack maybe to pit now, for the medium runners to pit, but then the soft runners behind will stay out. I think everyone is staying out for the time being, and now Club PR probably has a very good chance of maybe even winning this race.
Claire PR's turn then to try and see if he can win this race on those soft compound tyres. Jack is still in front then. I bet he thought he'd be swallowed up by now, but he's still there in P1. And safety cars came out to reduce his chances of being overtaken. So, with safety car coming out right now, KXI in P2 has to capitalise on those medium compound tyres. He knows he's in a great shot to win this Grand Prix. KXI in the Red Bull there, my co-commentator in the past, commentating for Tier 3 and in Tier 4 as well, as it was known back then. But here he is racing. He's picked up a few podiums now and then, has KXI in the Red Bull. And let's see if he can try and get some more on his tally tonight as well, with Toes right behind. And let's see what he could do in P3 then, as he started P2 down into P3. DC put pressure on him into turn number 1, but Tobes had a decent exit around the outside and stayed ahead of the Brit in the Mercedes. Steve Ryan in P5. What was your verdict on the incident? Did you see it?
I saw the onboard with Esteban, and he did do a Max Verstappen, let's say, the same he did in Brazil to Hamilton and Vegas to the club, but then in maybe a little bit worse fashion even. So I think that's 2 penalties coming the Alfa Romeo's way, on top of the one he already has in game.
Stefan there, mate. ILT drivers doing their best of always taking drivers out, but that's why he's owner on ILT. Thankfully not a driver, because ILT would be in the mud if he was driving.
Yeah, he's a good thing he's not one of our drivers. Let's just put it that way.
That's why he's in Tier 3 for a reason, is Stefan trying to make his way up there. But yeah, Stefan been involved in a lot of incidents recently in this race, and he's been the main spotlight of this race with incidents too. He's also got a 3-second time penalty, has the Dutchman in this race too. He's on the soft compound tyres still, but he's picked up a penalty, so I don't think he'll be winning this Grand Prix with that penalty. And more penalties after this race too, with the likes of Indian Jesus as well. Who else did he take out? I actually can't remember, was it?
It was Leon. Joe 1, he broke too late and hit the back of him.
No, Leon was a lap down, or almost a lap down.
No, Esteban, he tagged him in turn 1. Then Leon had a spin of his own, later on, but it was definitely Esteban that initiated the downfall of Leon.
That's what I was talking about. Leon was almost a lap down, and thankfully the safety car came out. He's up into P10, so despite being all the way at the back of the field with no hope whatsoever, like Valtteri Bottas was back in Azerbaijan in 2017, he was a lap down. Then all of a sudden he finds himself on a podium, overtaking Stroll on the line. That was a chaotic race too. So 3 safety cars, 2 in the space of a few laps. And Jack still remains in the lead of this Grand Prix as we head now onto lap 22. 3 laps left to go. Can Jack defend as well? KXI knows there's a golden opportunity to lead the race and potentially win it as well. He knows that's a big shot, one for taking. If he doesn't get it, then I think Jack should be proud of himself if he wins this Grand Prix indeed. But it reduces the chance of the soft compound tyres too to overtake and get further ahead.
Yeah, there will be slightly more one, of course, than the mediums as well. Behind safety car, it's not that big a difference, but still, after 4 laps, the softs will be higher percentage, so the difference between the softs and mediums will be less significant as well. Everything taken into account, it's only a blessing for those guys at the front that this safety car has come out. Theoretically, we always have to see in what happens in the reality, as they might even hit each other because of this safety car restart. They might just DNF because of it, and then, you know, it's not going to be great that the safety car came out. But only time will tell.
And was indeed a lot of drivers in this race have been involved in a lot of incidents as well. A lot diving into the pit lane, and anybody could win this Grand Prix as well. I can't wait to see how it all turns out. I don't think DRS will be enabled on the last lap of this Grand Prix once the safety car peels off into the pit lane then. So, first race of the season in Cone for Season 10. It's going to be an absolute showdown between all these guys. New mediums versus new softs, with a driver on older tyres still in P1. And that safety car was a blessing to him. Can he defend from KXI? Because KXI wasn't looking like he was in a position to attack either. He was quite far behind at one stage too. So has Jock got the pace to defend from KXI? Because remember, his pace in qualifying was amazing as well. Quite a few tenths ahead of KXI in the Red Bull then. So safety car is coming in at the end of this lap, and the last 3 laps of this Grand Prix is going to be an absolute thriller. Who will win this Grand Prix? KXI, Topes, Jack. What about Claire Piar at P6 and the Haas? DC as well in the mix. Anybody can win this Grand Prix. Will it be another chaotic restart like it was between Stevan and the 2 Aston Martins? Bazza Fox, oh, that's a shame there for Bazza. Innocent bystander in that one. Just sees his Aston Martin teammate in the middle of the road and couldn't do anything about it. So both Aston Martin's first race of the season has gone down the drain. No points for them, but hopefully can bounce back stronger, because you know Indian Jesus of Bazza has got good pace, but this time Jack waits until after the final corner, and KXI will need to have reflexes like a cat to try and make this restart to work for him. Try and get him down this turn 1. Here we go then. Gets a decent restart. Jack is ahead. KXI might be swallowed up by Tobes. Here DC's right behind Tobes. He made an overtake. There he is then, up the inside, and the Red Bull goes off the track almost, outbreaks himself, and here comes DC around the outside, but KXI is a roadblock. We can see a McLaren who's spun in the background, and actually DC's demoted down into P4 again. He's been in P4 majority of this race. He can't get out of the position. As you can see, Stevan just tapping the rear of DC, telling him to hurry up in the corners because he knows there's a potential win on the cars, but not quite likely with the penalties he's picked up in this race.
There's another DNF at the back. Crack was on his own. He spun into the wall. Luckily, no safety car, but 12 finishes. 12 contestants only remaining in this race. Sorry to cut you off. As Stevan goes for an overtake on DC, pulls that one off. Claire PR is the next one to overtake the Mercedes.
Yeah, DC on those medium compound tyres. The softs will be a good at this stage of the Grand Prix as well. So can DC defend? He's been in P4 majority of this race then. But the battle up front is splicing up between KXI and Tobes. Tobes is right at the back of our Red Bull driver. He locked. Oh, that was so close to contact there into turn 21. Has to bail out the throttle. KXI trying to move into turn number 1. I think he was too far back, but he outbroke himself, defending from the Ferrari behind. The Ferrari was quite early in the brakes too into turn number 1. Be very cautious, but here's KXI. He knows there's a win on the cars. Can Jack defend with 2 laps to go? No DRS, that's the only benefit he has in this race. But KXI with a decent exit on better tyres in the slipstream of the Mercedes end. Will he pull out to take the lead of this Grand Prix? On to lap 24 we go, the side by side, both using the ERS in attack and defence. KXI bails out because Jack is late on the brakes there into turn 1 and turn 2. So great defending, still great pace despite being on older tyres. I thought he'd be swallowed up. If he wins this Grand Prix, Jack, I think that's going to be one of my drivers of the day, because defending on all the tyres like that is just monumental. And I thought Toes would be all over the back of him too, but he's holding his own in P1. He's only got 2 more laps, but it's going to be a difficult 2 laps of this Grand Prix to defend. Leon has overtaken Dragon on speed. They're both exchanging positions in the first sector, as they should sort it out now, coming out turn number 12. And Leon's ahead for the time being, but KXI then, where is his next opportunity around this track?
It is going into turn 21 again, almost entering that a little bit of shuffling a bit further down the pack as well. Dragon Speed was a moment ago, he was attacking Eisen, now he is down into P9, 2 seconds adrift from the Haas, and he's battling with Leon as you saw in the first sector, so that cost him dearly. Did it for the Ferrari there. And KXI, without the help of DRS, he's going to go for the move on not Jack in the lead, both on similar ERS levels, but the Red Bull is just not committing to it. It looks like maybe around the outside of the final corner or going for the switchback, as Jack has gone a little bit deep, but he caught that beautifully. And still no move being made as we now go on to the final lap. There's only 1 lap remaining for KXI, probably 2 actual overtaking opportunities for the Red Bull to get this win. Otherwise, it's going to be a great defensive maneuver, this display from Jack.
A great display from Jack if he can win this race. I think a podium will be on the cards, but will there be any contacts on this lap? As they're all desperate, they know the win is on the cards. I thought Tobes would be all over this back of this battle too, but KXI can't find a way past Jack. I thought he would take a candy from a baby, but no, it's very difficult on all the tyres there. Red Bull hunted down the Mercedes on better tyres, where we heard that in the past before. But anyways, we head down into turn number 13. There's 2 DRS zones. Does Jack have the battery, enough battery to try and defend from KXI? KXI has a lot of ERS in his disposal to attack him. So where's the best opportunity? Turn number 27, the last corner probably, unless he can out-drag him. But Jack needs to have decent exits out of this corner, which if he can, on those older tyres. DRS is enabled there. KXI, this is surely his best opportunity. He has to use the battery. He hasn't used a lot of it either, and he's still behind, so he's waiting for turn 27. Now this is crucial to get better, good exits coming out of these important corners, because the DRS is coming up once again. So here we are. What's going to happen at the final corner? Well, KXI, you can see there, Jack is derated. Here comes KXI, gaining and gaining on the Mercedes driver as we head down. It's the final corner. Jack is still holding the inside line. He has DRS. He can't. Oh, he hits the wall. He's out of the Grand Prix. He's out. He had no purchase on those tyres. Here comes KXI to win the opening Jeddah Grand Prix ahead. Look at that in the Haas. Might get him. Oh, that was so close there. The Haas didn't get him in the end. It was DC who just held on to the podium ahead of Claire PR. But what a first race that was. Jack unfortunately gave it his all, but didn't have enough grip out of the final corner and sadly hit the wall because he had the DRS. But did he have enough battery to out-drag him towards the line? That was the question, D, because I think KXI had a lot at his disposal. So what a first opening race this was.
Yeah, you could say that. Twice the leader crashing out of the race, one in the final corner even, to the Grand Prix, as KXI is the winner. Topes in P2 and DC rounding off the podium, getting after being in P4 all his life basically, he gets P3 on the last lap.
Interestingly as well, none of the top 3 actually finished this race. That's very interesting. Basil Fox, Nanda as well, and Jack. In fact, Jack, it says he's a lap down, so he is classified theoretically. But the top 3 did not finish in the top 3 at all. Nanda still has the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, even though he DNF'd many moons ago. But that was a great opening race then. KXI becomes the victor ahead of Tobes in P2. What am I talking about? Tobes started in P2. Yeah, the top 3 did finish. I was getting ahead of myself there, but DC being P4 majority of this race finds himself a podium, and Steven still in P5.
Steven in P5, he'll probably be less than that. Still winning. Dragon Speed and Leon sharing a photo finish. I missed that 3,000s only separating both drivers in P6 and P7 there.
Wow, what a great race indeed that was. I thought Jack might have had a chance, especially down into the last corner when he held back at the detection point. And unfortunately, the tyres didn't have enough grip. He got the throttle way too early, and unfortunately, the tyres just had enough and hit the wall. It's such a tragic ending there for Jack, but I thought he did a great job defending from KXI, unless that was KXI's plan, just wait for the DRS, because obviously him being first in that DRS train wouldn't have helped whatsoever. He might get swallowed up. So it might be in a tactical. He did save a lot of ERS in his disposal, but it was a great race overall, I think it was, and a great result as well for the for the Red Bull team.
Yeah, definitely that win is worth so much more than a P2, but for example, it's a great performance.
I will not be doing podium interviews tonight because, as you could tell, I'll probably just instead of asking questions, just be coughing throughout the whole of it. And my voice is gone anyway, so we'll just round it off here, and that's the first race of the season in Jeddah done. We've got plenty more action as well on Thursday for Tier 1. Join us then with a new lineup as well, with drivers in different teams. I can't wait to see what happens here at Jeddah in Tier 1. We had a few safety cars last time out. We came here as well with Troye, who won in fact Nathan won the Grand Prix after Troye picked up a post-race penalty, and DC's asking where are the interviews, and I'll be a letdown and say I can't do them, so I really apologise, but I'll try next time round. And Bompia, I want to say a massive thank you for commentating with me. I think Scott's going to be next to me in the next few weeks onwards.
Yeah, that was the planning indeed. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it was always a pleasure to commentate with you, man. I enjoyed the race, and thank you for being here as always. And we'll round it off there then. So that's the end of round 1. Join us back next Monday for me and Scott for Budapest in Hungary. Let's see what happens there. But for us, have a good evening.